and welcome back to the 40% Better podcast. As always, my name is Bill, and this is conversations about leadership and specifically the technology world. Suresh has kindly volunteered to join us today and help us hear his stories. We appreciate it. Welcome.
Thanks, Bill. Looking forward to this talk.
Yeah, good, excellent. So the only scripted question that I have, the one thing that I ask everybody, this is kind of like, how did you get started? Were you like a kid that organized everything, or somewhere along the line somebody like said, "Here, you look like you'd be a good leader," and they stuck you in the job? Like, how did you get going?
I am not a natural, like per se, the way we brought up, we are all like technicians, STEM-oriented courses, more into computer science graduations and working. What is my next kind of a person? But sometimes to get into this kind of journey is also about the ecosystem where you put your efforts into also. For example, when I started my career back in India, a couple of decades ago, it's not intentionally. I took even though I'm a computer science graduate and applied sciences major, opportunities at that time is very less. Like a high-tech opportunities in computer science world back in India is not that great like today. So I have to pick and choose quickly what I want, right? And I kept my thought process little broad and open. Hey, whatever comes, I think I can turn, at least to keep the passion going, but don't stick too much into that. See what is the immediate opportunity to grow. So what I did is, like, I had a great opportunity in a finance brokerage firm. It's basically a marketing. To be very honest, I started my career in marketing. But every step along the way in the marketing teaches me something around, okay, how I can connect the dots to the process that I can do if I am a technician. If I'm given a computer, can I do something differently? That's all my thought process. I never had access to a system, but the whole company had one system, one computer. So what I do is, okay, it's a self-inflicted passion, I would say. Hey, I do this, but I will develop my own software to make my life easy every day, to keep monitoring all these things. Let me build my own system. So after 6 o'clock, I will get that system, do it myself, and then show, hey, this is the product I built. And then now you establish a trust with your management. You show what you can offer. Then they open up the ideas. Okay, if you can do this, you can do so many things. And that's how sometimes you have to create that opportunity for yourself. I started honestly with just like an intern there. I was there almost 8 years before I came to US. When I came out, I would say I was the top guy in the computers division. I hired all the people around 60. So naturally things fall in place. I think you should have that passion and initiative, but open to opportunities, because you never know which opportunity you can convert to your passion.
Yeah, that's very cool. It's funny. I actually work in a marketing department, doing marketing technology at a startup. When you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, it's there. That's right. I was in the marketing department at this company, and it was hooking up some internal stuff they'd written to, I don't even remember what the external thing was anymore. Some API that, wrote a little bit of code to hook it up. Right. But marketing teams need software. Like, everybody needs software today. It seems like, for, almost everything, there's some tool available. So, and wherever you start, it sounds like that was your doorway, right? You got in the door, and after hours you work, and yeah, that totally makes sense. The first company that I started working for, the first tech company, I actually started off working part-time in their sales department.
Oh, okay.
And then I wanted to learn what we were like. I wanted to understand what it was we were selling, because I have no computer science background from college.
Mm.
And so I started pestering the engineering guys at lunchtime to teach me how to write code.
Yeah, yeah,
And so, like you were coding at night, I was doing the same thing. At night, after everything was all done, I would sit down and experiment and play with code. And um and then I got to a point where they were like, "Oh, we're going to have you do this little production thing." And all
yeah,
of a
yeah.
sudden, I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm doing production code. You got to be kidding me." Um,
Of course,
but
along the way, there are a lot of challenges, right?
oh yeah,
I just scrapped that 8 years of the journey just like that. But every day there is an hurdle. Every time there is an highs and lows. There are challenges you have to overcome. But the most important thing in that first job itself, even though in that job I stick, I never worked in any other company back in India.
hmm
It's all about a supporting system, building trust along the way, having a kind of a good network of friends and colleagues supporting every step, encouraging you. There are many things goes in between that can help you motivate every time you are hitting a roadblock to keep you right. So that system is always needed for every leader. And I always personally to be talking about, I always keep many mentors for myself. Either it could be a professional mentors or even on a personal side, religious side, spiritual side. At least because each avenue is important to overcome certain difficulties, because you need to keep your eyes and ears open in a leadership position, because you can get ideas, you can get challenges anytime, any place, right? So
yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that curiosity,
yeah,
that you're talking about. Yeah,
yeah,
that's been a huge like constant in
yeah,
in my journey. It's always been, oh, what's over there,
yeah,
what are those guys doing, what are those people over there doing, and um and can it help us, can it help with what we're doing, or is it something I'm just going to file away,
mm,
and in 2 or 3 or 5 years I may suddenly go, oh, that thing, right? Or
yeah,
it may turn out to be a horrible idea, and it never gets traction and disappears.
yeah, yeah,
um and then, oh, what did I learn from that?
yeah.
um
Think one of the another thing, Bill, what I also learned earlier, maybe it is maybe little bit of luck in my career, I would say, because I had an opportunity on all these things. But you need sometime you need good environment to test all these things also, right?
mhm.
And opportunity you need to seek, not anyways. But if I was sitting alone, okay, I want this, probably I never got these things. I was open to an opportunity that came along the way, but I capitalized it. Right.
Right,
That's the
right.
right. That's the
Yeah,
path.
yeah,
And along the way, you have to hire people. Every hire you make, every step you make in that direction trains you to be a better leader. And you, most important thing is people, like even within a region, cross region, different culture, even within your own city, your own place, there are many different mindsets, right? How to
yes,
overcome all these things are, these are all like cannot be like learned actually. Some of them are over time you experience by interactions, learn by mistake, course correct yourself. So it's a little but you need to be intentionally do that, otherwise you can't
right.
learn it.
Yeah, yeah. I like that awareness of the diversity,
Yeah,
like that deliberate awareness.
right,
um
right.
and yeah, it's yeah, hopefully we're always learning,
Yeah,
and curious, and I, I
yeah,
I'm a huge fan of, um I want a bunch of people on my team who think differently than I do,
hmm,
because I don't want an echo chamber. Like I know I've got this set of ideas, right? I want somebody who's got a totally different set of ideas
Yeah.
because they're going to think things I'm never going to think of,
Right.
and
Absolutely.
yeah, and like that maybe that's probably going to be the solution to the problem because
Yeah, I
you know
never
my
knew where the
yeah
solution comes from. Keep your eyes and ears open, right? That's one
yeah
of the most,
yeah
and at least many times, honestly, a casual talk gives a lot of ideas along the way. You
yeah
talk to your staff just for a tea or a cup of coffee somewhere, and just keep him in a very like a normal setup, right? Not like a very tight professional setup. You will
hmm
see how much your team can give you back. It's up
right
to the leadership how you want to tap that knowledge and make it a better outcome. That's one of
hmm
the most critical job of a leader. But you,
yeah
again, it's up to how much you are open to do all these things with your staff, get the ideas, make them curious also, because uh, given the challenges in hiring we are seeing and the competition in hiring we are seeing, you need to be top. Sometimes we might not be able to even comp like big, but you need that level of talent. How you balance all these things cannot always through one method. There are several
right.
things we have to use and go through that. Yes.
Okay, I've got like 5 questions that are all running in circles in my head right now.
Sure. Go
So
ahead.
the first one is how did you start off seeing the value in people and really understanding that that needed to be a focus, or did it come from a mentor, or did you kind of organically one day go, oh wait a minute, the people really matter? Like how'd that come about?
So I would say initially it was little rough and raw. My style, like, right, I want to get the job done. I need like this amount of work. I need this many people. That's the early stages when I just came raw out of college and I was given these opportunities. I want to get the job done, right? That's
Hmm.
how it started initially.
Right,
But
right,
over time, as our responsibility grew, okay, it's not about getting the job done. How I can innovate something new, then I need a different spectrum of thought one way. Now I want to take it to the next level, because when you start expanding your career more and more, the scope of your work get diversified, and each puzzle piece need different skills, different knowledge base, different support systems, and you have to connect this path, right? All the pieces along that. Over this time, we are personally learning also, like, okay, what kind of people I can use for what kind of task, and mature that. One area during this course is also when you work as, I was in between, when I moved to US, I was also a consultant.
hmm
Started as a consultant. When you work as a consultant and you see the um, when you're very experienced, did everything, and suddenly come as a consultant, it's a very different dimension to look at the entire world. So that perspective also very important. So collectively now, when you take over a very key responsibility in a company or an enterprise, you know how the whole systems work. So it is not like 1 year, 2 year learning. It's a bunch of year learning across
right.
this whole system. That is step one. Step two is, once you reach that, I did have some taken my own courses, some professional mentors. Hey, this is what it is and how I can improve. Where are all the, we will always do our performance evaluations, like every feedback we should be
Mhm.
listened to hear from my boss, etc. And then take that feedback, put myself into a coaching curriculum actually, and take some high impact leadership courses and
Nice,
continuously evolve. That's how it is. I grew.
nice. I like that. Again, the deliberate nature
Yeah,
of that, right?
yeah,
Totally
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
And the the incremental learning,
yeah.
as it's like I always think about incremental learning. I think with incremental learning, you can get at least proficient, if not excellent, at anything.
Right.
It's just you have to understand starting at the basics and then working your way up. right? It's
Right.
like how we learn math. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you start off counting, single digits, and then one day you're doing
Yeah.
calculus, and you're like, how did I get here? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I really like that.
Most important thing is how you keep this team um, together. The togetherness
Right,
of the team. It has to gel. Otherwise, the
right,
output you won't see. That is another area that we need to look
nice.
into.
What are like your top three methodologies for keeping that team cohesion?
So first, I'm always very transparent with the team. Whatever happens across, everybody should at least know everything, not do everything, but at least
Mhm.
inform. Hey, this is what our total body of work as a whole, or we have to deliver or
Right,
execute or expected, right? Whatever method form it comes, we have to provision that. At least everybody should have that. What are we doing? What is our target? Maybe we have to do individual pieces of that, but collectively, what is our goal? That has to be absolutely clear to avoid any sort of confusion. That is
sure.
very, very important. So that is number one. Number two, I always prefer, including myself, everybody should continuously upskill and rotate. I say that to every not now, not because of AI or anything. I say that like even like over 20 plus years in my career, I myself did that. I I studied something. I developed in some other software. When I came, I where US in '98, I completely whatever I did 8 years, I have to erase and do completely new stuff with new technologies. So I the success of every growth, even though you are taking a leadership path with at least in the technology field, you should know everything, at least what you are working on to certain level of depth. The more you can better manage it or better see the risks and challenges ahead of everybody. But that's the leadership uh, skill that you need to keep up before somebody catches. If you are you can you visualize that, can you visualize and fix ahead of time, right? And for
Right,
all these things you need a good team, and the good team has to also get continuously upskilled. So the more you bring them upskill, they will also be motivated, do the rotation job, and then give them necessary tools, professional tools, personal tools in terms of mentoring, whatever it is needed, and then continuously and be transparent with feedback. That's one of the most critical one, because but feedbacks cannot be authoritative feedback. I don't like that. It should be more uh, servant leadership approach in kind of feedback, so that they see that more positively and
right,
play to their strength. And leadership, another big thing I use is yes, I give feedback, but I try to play to their strengths first and
right,
see
right.
if I can take advantage.
Yeah, yeah. That's a really good approach. I mean, I like everything you're saying. It's really good. Um, I've been a huge fan of for a long time now of getting people into, well, definitely cross training, but also, what is the thing that excites you?
Yeah,
Like you understand everything, but what's the piece you really want? And maybe you're like really crazy about UX and you really want to focus on UX. Like, awesome. Someone else wants to optimize databases.
yeah,
Great. Like I'm totally fine with that. Somebody else wants to go into the back end of our cloud and figure out how to optimize everything that's going on there. Um, I'm like, as long as everything gets covered, I'm very happy,
yeah.
you know, and,
Even
and
today, what we do is within our team, everybody will do their demo part to everybody. Doesn't mean everybody should do it. Like everybody, what they done have to at least to show across the
sure.
team that can inspire somebody, one, or
Hmm.
if they are stuck, they know how to get help. Whatever they need, that will rotate. Even in a, because many people honestly are also shy to ask, hey, I don't know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How to capture that, how to make them put a position instead of being shy, make it as an official question you can ask and learn, kind of. That is
Right.
also key. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That you talk about shy, and it immediately sparks in my head about how important it is to build an environment of psychological safety for the team.
Right.
And what I'm hearing is a lot of that from you. Is that whether you mean to or not, that's a lot of what you've been doing.
Yeah.
And one of my very deliberate kind of practices has always been I want to make the environment as comfortable and safe as possible for the shyest person on my team,
Right.
because invariably there's a bunch of smarts inside their head that's
Right.
not coming out as much as I would want. And so it seems like every time I've ever done that, there's been, they've gotten comfortable and then they've said something and the rest of the team has been like, holy cow, that was genius. Right. And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I want more of that. I want
Yeah.
that. And the rest of the team loves it. Like they're super happy about it. And I think that's one of those,
Yeah.
I think that's a piece that a lot of teams, the manager / leader of the team doesn't have that. Like no one talks to them about that, and they don't.
Yeah.
So they don't think about it, and they miss out the opportunities.
Yeah, because a lot of times we found interesting ideas, a thought provocation across the team happens in that kind of setting. And like I said, it's mainly to support that
Yeah, yeah,
shyness and introvertness, right? We need to, the most important thing is, the thing is, I was like that. So
sure.
that helps me to understand people in my position. Luckily, I had an opportunity to quickly cross that path, but a lot of people needs that over time. So it's a that lesson is also coming from my own experience too. Yes.
Nice. Yeah, yeah, very good. Yeah, I think I used to have really bad social anxiety, and I built a system for myself to come out of that. And a lot, a lot of the reason was because I needed to be able to communicate better with my team and the executives. But the beautiful thing about it was once I'd figured out that I had this system, then I was able to teach other people on my team.
Right.
And because I always think about knowledge transfer, right? Like me being able to do something because I have an unconscious competency is great for me, but how do I help anybody else with it? It's kind of like the next level, right? And
Right.
and so that always, I was like, oh wait, I can actually help other people to
Yeah.
to speak up. And so, yeah, I mean, anything you can do to help that. And how, you said you had an opportunity to get over your own social anxiety, your shyness. What was the opportunity? What happened?
So maybe what previously I had, like, this is like, that is the time I was taking my mentor's advice. Basically, when I have my mentor's advice, they say, hey, you can still open up, you can still help people more than what you think. And then that lead to me to take um, uh, the course in UC Berkeley, which is high impact leadership course. And
Oh, nice.
um, and it's a 4-day course. It's an amazing one, where we all have to, the work which kind of triggered me is we used to do what is that river of life kind of, um, just draw your life as a river bed, like how ups and
Oh,
downs
interesting.
you have, right? A river of life. So when you do that and then tell that story about yourself, that is the time I realized myself, okay, we overcome all these things, right? And how we overcome, when we think back, it opens up, okay, it's not that, okay, yes, we had that, but when there is a situation, I did certain things different. So then I know, okay, it is there, but it is not like obviously that, it is very subtle. Okay, how I can break that subtleness to make it a regular practice? Then I have to make it a practice. Whatever I did in small chunks during that, now I have to make it regular and
Yes.
bring that up. That's the step I took. But that comes not just me. I didn't realize going through the mentorship, going through that, taking the high impact leadership, understanding the storytelling part, then yes, that storytelling part repeatedly, that 4 days across, like they call it as, right, they they put at your weak spot and ask the questions kind of thing, right? They just break the ice on that. That helps you. Okay, if I can do it here, why can't I do it before my own team, my own known people, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how. Yeah, yeah.
I like that. That's very cool. Yeah. It's funny. I part of the process for me for getting out of my own social anxiety was to do presentations.
Yeah.
And so I actually enlisted my team and said, I need to learn how to do presentations. Are you all willing to be an audience? And I'm just going to present everything that I do from now on. And, as a learning experiment. Right. And they were like, yeah, sure. Okay, whatever, and it gave me it was that incremental thing, right? I got to work on that. And now I'm like, oh, I need to take that course that you took. Like, I'm super curious about it now because the way you describe it, I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. What can I learn there? Okay, I'm gonna have to go research that. Do they still have that?
I don't know. It's called High Impact Leadership in UC Berkeley,
Okay.
And one of the exercises is drawing your river of life. Actually, so you start from where, from the beginning you remember, and then slowly do your most. What are the things you remember and what happened at the time, and draw it like kind of a picturing,
Right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you will know. Um, so. There are I realized a lot about myself, my challenges when I did that. Actually, it's
Very cool.
amazing to see, look back at whatever, the toughest moment, which I normally don't think, made me to think, the toughest part of my life, which I overcome,
Right. Right.
with a certain approach, right? So
Yeah.
all these things are right, but everything is in there, but somebody has to trigger, and then we have to practice to
Right.
bring it
Right.
to action.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of what you're talking about with practice. Because for me to get over my social anxiety was learning skills and then practicing them and then practicing them and then practicing them and then practicing them and practicing them. And there's like, I made habits of practicing. And so, like I start conversations with strangers every time I'm out doing anything in the world as a practice, because that way, any time that it's like, that it matters that I start a conversation well with a stranger, it's easy because I've got 20,000 reps now of talking with strangers. And so it's not unusual anymore, and I don't, I don't know, I don't know if I can look back at an inflection point and go, yeah, the 4,000th conversation, all of a sudden everything was easy. I'm not quite sure it's that simple. It's more, it's like, I don't quite know where I crossed the line. But yeah, the practice just makes it, just accepting you're going to have to practice it forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a huge mental model, right? That really makes it work. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Again,
very cool.
Yeah. But one thing I also, these are all are honestly one of the most important thing in leadership at the end when it comes to more practical world, right? So these are all about people, but when it comes to uh, it all on execution also. See, one is people, everything is great from a leadership. At the end, everything is valued based on the outcome and results we show. So there is a bridge that we have to always keep and cross from an execution side of the house. That is another important thing that will tell, okay, what are the key, when we talk about, okay, what are the milestones you have, what is your 1 year, 2 year, 3 year projection looks like, both in terms of where you want to be, how you want to set up, how do you want to grow, and that should always a consistent thought process. Yeah, and with the current AI and all, it dynamically changes and shifts. When we talk about it, okay, how to position myself in this along with the changing world and the
Right.
environment and the human capital, because human capital,
Mhm.
human knowledge is also going to be completely, dynamics of that is going to change. That's what I'm expecting. It is never
Sure.
like 2 years before I will see, because of AI. So that is a tremendous, um, I would say, opportunity with challenges. Is we have to, all leaders has to be aware because of the AI God, I would say.
Right.
We don't know,
Right.
like, right? But we have to adjust to that now, biggest trend, and that is going to create a lot of things to leaders, how to organize your whole team, what you expect from the team for the new world, especially if you are in high tech.
Right. Right. Um, how are you guys using AI right now? What are your, what are the places where it's working really well or not so well?
So I will give a little bit of a combined answers, but you will know what. Most of the time, if you think about the biggest, what AI, what I'm personally seeing in because of AI is, um, if you see in the traditional way of workforce in the space, we know how the traditional workforce, but with AI, it cuts shorts and people want productivity. That's it. When the moment AI comes, the first thing to any hiring manager, any budget approvals or any leaders, hey, okay, AI is here, show me the productivity.
Right. Right.
That's it. And it's not like 2x, 3x. The minimum starting productivity is 10x. And because they say, oh, AI is there, AI is coding, AI is a resistant. So the whole uh, model in leadership mind right now is, because of AI, can I enable 10x productivity? Right? That doesn't mean they don't need people. Definitely, we all need people. But how to use AI to increase that productivity? And what is that means and all is a very different topic, but we can discuss. But the idea here is, when what we happens in the workforce is, suddenly any new application, any new complex problem can start like very fast, because AI, to certain degree, we should agree, the gap in experience is giving you. If I am in college, I'm just coming out of college, and if I want to start a project, maybe in, say, in a new area where I never worked, I know how to code, I know how to use data, that's all I know. But I never,
Right.
the difference in the past is, when I come out of that college, I know the tools, but I don't know the business activity,
Sure.
how I have to take and do it for the business activity. But now AI is telling me what are the steps I have to do if I given a problem. If this,
I see.
it might not be accurately giving my stages, but it takes me to 60%. Hey, I want to solve this problem, give me a skeleton
Yeah.
of this. It gives me 60% already. Typically this is a workforce work, like some analysts, some experts, some project owners, some product owners do this actually. Now
Right.
suddenly, eh, the newcomer, new intern, if he is curious enough to learn using the tools, he suddenly jumps to, the expectation of him jumps to none to 50 times more, because now, hey, you get all the information, or the manager himself has created a pseudocode and give it, started. Right?
Right.
The
Right.
expectation is increasing with AI, because it doesn't need to be perfect. Right? That's where
Sure.
human in the loop comes. That's where human intelligence comes to support. But the initially, the block that everybody has for every new employee, and working with an experienced folk, that gap is slowly raised down.
Right.
Suddenly, a new intern is working like if they are curious enough and with an aptitude to learn, a new person joining right from college to workforce can become a 5-year experienced guy or a 10-year experienced guy.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So then it puts pressure on the 10-year person to do even more. Likewise, I feel there will be a chain of encouragement. If we are not curious, then there is a problem with that workforce. As long as they are ready to learn and be curious, they will be very, very successful.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I'm always curious every time I talk with somebody about how they're using AI, and I what's interesting is I don't feel like I'm getting the same stories from everybody. Like your layout, your explanation is different than the last person that I talked with AI about, which is different from the person before that, which is different from the person before that. And I'm like, there's all these different, like I'm waiting to see
I will tell you one process
overlap.
we are implementing. One process where, see, I will tell you the code. See, the problem with all these AI tools is I can develop my own code. You can develop your own code. Likewise, we can create a lot of code faster. But there is a central repository where everything has to be unified. That is the problem. Right? So then everything becomes suddenly orphan, and you might have heard like saying, oh, 95% of the AI pilot projects fail in production, kind of, right? You will hear that. But that's a learn from an enterprise perspective. It is okay because they are learning how to use. That's stage one. I would call stage one. But the real thing is this: the success model, what we are trying to practice pilot within ourselves is we go big on group coding. When I say group coding, what I meant to say is we practice group coding. We are setting up a team structure accordingly. And the idea here is if you want to do something faster, just because AI, you can't do it faster. You need the same roles you want. You want a product owner, you want an analyst, you want the developer, you want an engineer, you want an architect, you want a QA, same roles that you want to deliver enterprise scale projects. But unlike before, put them into a single room, do a collaborative coding.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I like that idea. Yeah.
Right? They have to tell, okay, product owner, state your problem. Others ask the question, everything is vibe. So when you do it, you collectively create a cohesive, this is what I want to develop. Sit and do it together. Put all your questions one shot and then use the coding tool. Because now your BRD is coming from not from a business analyst role only or a product owner. That BRD suddenly becomes your entire project that you want to deliver. Not like 5 different pieces of documents you tied up right at the gate, then you start vibe. Then you start vibe coding. Then it should all matter. And then, of course, that will still take 60-70%. Then you use 30%, right? So the role plays, I'm not thinking we will change. But the output productivity we will get much faster. Without losing the role.
Yeah. I really like that. I think it's interesting because, I always think about team productivity as a result of people being happy about the stuff they're doing, and, back to intrinsic motivation and psychological safety. But the end of that chain is that now sales runs faster. Right. Because, it's like one of the founders I worked for years ago told me that the sales team couldn't sell any faster than my team could write code. And he's like, we can't sell next year's features today.
Right.
We can maybe sell the next release's features, but that's it, right? Like people want to be able to actually get in there and do it. And so, I think about, how is the chief revenue officer, whatever the equivalent is, right? VP of sales, whatever, now going to be thinking when all of a sudden the software development side of the business goes, oh yeah, we're operating this much faster. What's the impact on the sales team and the, sorry.
No worries.
And the customer side,
Uh-huh.
when they're like, here's this stuff, is there a point where you actually need to slow engineering back down again because the customers are getting updates too fast for them to handle?
I do not think so. The reason is this: we never need to do that because software features are always a step behind customers ask. Always, customers want more than what you have, so that's given. You take you there is no product is finished product in the market. Every product, every day you have to do something new, right? So that is how you have to see from a pure product angle. If you are building a software, I cannot get convinced as saying my software development is complete. I can tell my feature development is complete for something. I will never say my product is done yet, right? Because there is always something, the product will be unfinished for at least a customer. You might have satisfied 80% of your customer space with your product. The remaining 20% always need something new. That is always going to be there. Tell me if you think otherwise.
Okay,
Before.
so here's a counter argument to that, right?
Yeah.
Basecamp, 37 Signals, right? There's one of their books. I think it's Rework, but it might be one of their other books. And it's Jason Fried and David Heimerhan, DHH, the guy that created Ruby on Rails, right?
Mm-hmm.
They made a conscious business decision that they weren't going to add any features into Basecamp because they said, we serve this market. Every feature that anybody's asked for that made sense for that market, we've put in the product, right? We've got a bunch of rabid fans we're making plenty of money. And we don't want to go to a different sales demographic. We don't want to try to become Oracle, right? We don't want to try to become Salesforce. And so then they've written about this, how they're like, we're super focused on this particular thing, and we're really slow to add new features because we have to be really, really sure that it's going to be a net positive for our clientele and not somehow screw them up, basically, like not cause a
That is true. That is true. But that is, if you really see from a product perspective, whether the choice is with the customers, whether they want to upgrade to the newest version or not.
Right.
But that doesn't stop me as a product, as a product developer. I should never stop running. The moment I stop running with the current pace, anybody can build what I built in a very fast manner. So the intention here is, whether you are truly capitalistic in terms of growing your customer. I can say, okay, whatever money I earned is enough and not work and retire, or I keep pushing myself to use my energy more and develop more. Right? Every enterprise has to grow. That's how the economics. There is nothing like stale. Customer upgrades can become because customer have a choice. But as a product developer, we don't have a choice. That's all I'm saying. Otherwise, somebody else will compete. So where is that line to be drawn is up to the executive decisions. One way you can see that way. Another one is on the customer's decision, whether they have the money, budget, risk taking they want. We never talked about risk. Management has 50% of your daily life is about taking some sort of a risk, right? So you need all these pieces. And to me, personally speaking, I would never consider any product as complete because there is always something to do on a product to make it better.
Right. Yeah. I think maybe it's because it's context dependent, I guess. You
Yeah,
know, you
yeah,
got to
it could
figure
be.
out,
Yeah.
what's what make, like, I don't know, Bic pens, Bic has made a lot of money doing the exact same ballpoint pen for 50, maybe 75 years now. And last time I checked, they were still making money and doing okay, although I haven't bought a pen
Yeah,
in a while.
so that's what it's about. Where you want from a strategy and vision perspective,
Yeah.
is there a change? Competition, is there is a
Right.
competition? To
Right.
all decides when to stop, when to grow, when to keep quiet, when not to do something
Yeah.
random, right? All
Yeah.
these things dictates. As far as the idea and innovation, I will never stop. I'm
Yeah.
talking one, right? The innovation to a product should never stop. That engine uh, drives everything, because
Yeah.
then you are becoming a stale. If you become stale from a product, the whole organization becomes stale, but that has a very different negative connotation
Sure.
from a leadership standpoint. So you have to
Yeah.
keep the ball rolling and moving to higher and higher and higher places.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. You should read Rework.
Okay.
It might change you. It might give you some different perspectives. I'm pretty sure that's the one where they talk about it.
Okay. I will
Yeah.
check. Definitely.
Yeah. But this is the beauty of business, right? Is that you've got this philosophical perspective that 99.9% of the time totally makes sense.
Nice.
Um,
But that maybe that 1.1% could change my mind after I read it. We'll
exactly.
see.
It's like this coffee mug is basically perfect for me. Like, I don't
No,
want.
that comes with content, being content, right?
Yeah.
See, uh, the question is, the question is, do I want to be content, or when I should think I am content, right?
Right. Exactly. You're right. Right. I, if I was going to buy 10 more mugs just like this one, I would want them to be the same.
Yeah, yeah. If I want to reach the goal in another 5 years, I used to tell my mom and dad, hey, 40 years, I'll finish everything and retire. It never happened. I keep rolling,
Right.
rolling, rolling, right? So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
never happens that way like we wish, but there is a day for sure, right? We all have that contentment. Okay, kicks in. Hey, after that, I need my time. I'm going to do what I want to do, not like this, something, right?
Right.
So
Right.
that is there, like in life, in product also, it is there. But with the current condition, Bill, I'm telling, everything we did in the past, every software we have in the past with
Mm-hmm.
AI, it is being rewritten. We are at least in a time where we are actually. I'm feeling very happy to be in this cusp time to see this transition coming from 1998 or even before, seeing all type of transition stage by stage, and being here today and
Right.
going through the transition itself is a big thing, and it's just interesting. But the thing that we talk about is driven not just by our own factor. That's all I'm saying. The decision that we want to make is not just with our factor. It depends on external factor, our
Right.
motivation, our many pieces are there, many factors are there to consider.
Yeah. Yeah. Earlier, you talked about risk management, and from my mostly startup perspective, mostly early stage company perspective, that's always been one of the unspoken cores of the business. Is like, we're getting together to do a startup and we think it'll work. We're going to try like heck to make it work. And it's another one of those pieces I don't think people talk about enough. So when you're looking at a risky situation, like, how do you think about risk, and how do you get everybody comfortable on your team with a risky direction?
So we need to take risk, otherwise risk come reward. That's a very typical quote, but I take only measured risk, to be very precise. And when I say measured risk, I don't take risk um, if I don't have the expertise, period. I don't try to take risk like blindly, where I cannot, if I don't have an expertise in that area, I don't even try. I will seek advice more than taking risk. I
Mm.
will seek
Hmm.
advice and take. But if I know I can, right? For example, within my expertise, if I think I have, and I know if there is an alternative path or there is a buy-in, then I will go take the risk. And when I say take the risk, sometimes you are taking the risk on a failed situation. Hey, I will make it right. Let me try. That is itself
Sure.
is a risk, right? That is a
Yep. Yep.
more
Yep.
like a more easy way of taking risk, actually speaking,
Right.
on a
Right.
failed
Right.
one take. So I don't call that as risk, but still, from a management perspective, there is a risk because you are putting people into that. Success or failure depends upon that, and the people will be nervous. Hey, this is a failed project. Why you are giving on that, right? Um, there are scenarios where the entire room, I cannot name the companies and all, but just to give you a scenario, the, it's a well-known solution I developed, and I know in and out of the solution from the past experience. Now I
Hmm.
am entering a new place. They have a very critical scenario. It's a high-risk project. The entire SVPs and sales leadership and finance leaderships, everyone is on the board, ready to make decisions whether to give or not. And if we don't fix it, it will affect the quarterly reports. Before that, you
Right.
need to
Yep.
fix it. So within the room, you have 5 people, and they put a choice: who is confident, right? I'm in that company only 2 months, right? But I have the pedigree of knowing the end to end of that. Externally, I know that domain fully, thoroughly, even
Sure.
for a much bigger company. So this company is very complex system, all new people. I don't know the back what is real. I know the process, I know the systems and all. How they did it, I do not know. Right?
Right. Right.
Then they looked at me because I am new guy in there. What do you think? I said, okay, I will take it. That's okay. Everybody was stunned, and they were asking how much time. I said, when what is the question? This is how the questions will come, right? What is your confidence in solving?
Sure.
Right? I know I have to give an answer, so I just give a very high number. Obviously, I want to take that risk,
Sure. Yep.
right? I don't know what is there, but I know the domain fully. So
Sure.
that changed my life in the company for the rest of the 6 years I stayed there, right? Because then everything comes and you take ownership. So that's the thing leadership is all about. Yeah, can you do it?
Right.
Execution, I was talking about, and risk taking is connected in a little bit. So when others are hesitant to commit, you should have that risk taking mindset. But I don't do that without knowing the domain, because I know the domain. Okay, in
Right.
a new
Right.
place, ready to take, because at the end it's the same systems. I know. I know even if nobody helps, I can take 2-3 people and recode the entire system in 3 weeks. That confidence I had, right? So then I
Yeah.
take the risk.
Yeah.
That's it. Hey, water is not rocket, right? We did it before. Just repeat that same thing in quick way and then get it done. So that kind of so you can't take risk like without knowing. You need support system for that, and you
Right.
even with that it can. I could have failed, honestly speaking, but
Hmm.
I had enough support system built. When I go
Right.
to the meeting, you prep everybody. Hey, this is what I'm going to say. My boss, make sure he is aware what is the level of risk I'm talking about, because I cannot explain what is the risk I'm taking before others, but I have to tell him what is the exact risk
Sure.
boundaries there. So prepare yourself with your management, and then go and take the risk, not like blindly. Yeah.
Right. No, I like that, and that, I've I've definitely had those. Oh, I know the domain. I understand the problem. And, despite the fact that I'm new, I probably understand the problem better than anybody at the company. Kind of, yeah, that scenario. Yeah. And I think the key piece is trusting your domain knowledge.
Right.
Like clearly you trusted your domain knowledge.
Right.
And that allows you to be, even though it looks risky from the outside,
Mm-hmm.
if you know that you and 3 people can recode the whole thing in a matter of weeks, then you've got a huge amount of understanding of all the bits and
Yeah,
pieces
but
of the
the
domain, right?
ecosystem is new, right? But because the ecosystem, the risk here is people are looking at you, what you can do to challenge and go against you. Because I'm relying on all the other people who I'm challenging against.
Right. Yeah.
That is like more organizational risk matter. If you
Yeah.
want me to give another example, this is very early in my career. When I was working in the finance system, I was talking about finance brokerage system, and I started my career. Like there, when I was in the marketing department, when I built the system, the whole idea there is build customer data hub. So you
Yeah.
have so much of market information, like we call them as depositors or stock market holders. We collect all their information because we are the registrars in
Sure.
our company is a registrar. So we are putting all these things in a central repository using my system. And at those days, it is all novel network kind of systems. And one day, like I had more than 50 million contacts, right? Gone. It got affected with virus and all gone.
Oh no.
Right. So that is the risk I happened in the world. When I drew those are all the things I tend to forget, but it comes in a nice moment like this. I'm just bringing it up. So that is an unknown risk with the 3 years experience overall. I don't know what I lost, honestly speaking. So we have 20 people in the department. It crashed is crashed. That's on my. It's on me. So I
Right.
went. How I managed is very different, that situation compared to this. So I went directly to my boss, all my CEOs and regional VPs, everybody. I just told them very transparent. I lost. Meaning you could have informed me. There is a chance they could have informed me, hey, don't use certain things. There are virus in this floppies or whatever it is. It is because of virus infection only. They could have indicated me, but they also missed communicating to me. But anyways, I didn't say anything to them. I said it is my fault. You can take action. If you want to fire me, you can fire me. One option. I gave them 2 options basically. I made the mistake. I commit. If you want to fire, you can fire, but I don't think that is right. You are not going to gain out of anything. Because what you fire, I will look for another job and maybe I have a long career. I will keep. What are you going to get? It's lost. So second option is give me 3 days. I will try my best. And let me bring whatever I could. Then again, decision is yours. At least give the try. I will do. Then whatever decision you want to make, you make. I'm fine with that.
Yep.
So net to net, long story short, out of the 50 million kind of contacts, I could recover 70%. 30% I still lost. But I could recover 70% by searching very old books of how to debug infected disk segments and all.
Yeah.
And then I recovered back 70%. Okay.
Nice.
Then because 3 days I have to give the whole department, because the whole department's work is on top of building that. So the whole department is shut. I am the one who is sitting in a dark room day and night, 24/7, 3 days running, trying to grab sector by sector from the disk to restore.
Oh my God.
Yes, 70% we recovered. Fourth day, I went to my management and said, hey, I did this, but I still, you can fire me. I recovered 70%. Still, it's my mistake. I still lost 30%. You make the decision. That is the first time I realized why trust is the most important in any of the business, right? They promoted me and
Right.
give me control to go across the entire nation to do an online deployment of my software.
Nice.
So those kind of moment, we have to be absolutely clear, be upfront, give them options, don't pull back till you need to try. It's all these things are there, right? So
Yeah.
that is another risk taking, but this is a very different risk taking style. But that's what I did.
Right.
Like when I.
But that's a beautiful example of, number one, personal responsibility. Number two, clearly leadership trusted you, right? That you were going to deliver. And number three, you did deliver. And so they promoted you because they realized, hey, like no one else is going to do this, right? This guy needs to be rewarded. Punishing you would be not the wise choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that company I never changed till I came to US. That is the only company I worked ever in India.
Nice.
Till I came to US. Till today, I can go there back if I want.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you've got a track record and they know that you're awesome. And so, that totally makes sense.
And the management support, all these things, like small things make a big difference.
Right.
That has to build over time. Whether they want me or not, I will be always gratitude. My gratitude is always with them, right? So all these things, they might not even know I'm still talking about them, right? So that's what I meant. It is there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's yeah. We have to be grateful for these, these kinds of experiences, and leadership trusting us. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I'm looking at the clock. We've been talking for an hour, and I really appreciate the generosity of your time and your willingness to tell these stories, because otherwise they're not out in the world. And I really hope that other people can listen to this and go, oh, that's a way to do it. I can do that. That's a possibility. And, I could have a mistake and it's not the end of the world. And, and how do that's beautiful. I love it. Thank you. This has been great. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. This has been fantastic.